All right, guys, 5 years ago, I started my Jeep project, and here it is, still not done. We've worked on this thing a few times in our videos throughout the years, and it just seems to fight me every single step of the way.
You got too many shocks. That's the problem.
I absolutely love this Jeep because it is everything that I ever wanted, as well as it's a vehicle I'm gonna be able to take my kids out just like my dad took me out when I was a kid. So it's a huge deal to me that this Jeep gets done one day. But as you've seen in all the years past of us making videos, it's always in our way, sitting in the shop, broken, untouched, and a lot of people have been talking about it and wondering when we're gonna get to work on it. It's been sitting exactly like this for 6 months now because of one huge problem. And that problem is something that I cannot fix for the life of me. I've tried 100 times now, and it's not a problem that you can just live with because it'll be catastrophic issues when this thing's completely put together and done. And that is these stupid shocks.
We've already done a video about mounting these shocks because he's got coilovers and bypasses on all the corners. We did it, he built it, it took a full week to get them mounted. And after that video came out, we came out here and realized they still won't work.
So the issue with it is as soon as I can get one of the things to clear, like the shocks hitting the frame, when it droops out, the tire will hit when it's turned, when it's stuffed up. So, and then vice versa. So everything is working against each other. There's just not enough room between the frame and the tire that I'm seeing to be able to run a shock, like let alone two. So this week, 100% by the end, this Jeep is going to be done with shocks and move on to the next step.
We feel like this is the perfect week to dig in and get this Jeep done because Caleb, our little brother, is taking care of his wife. They just had their little baby that you saw in the last video. So he won't be here this week, which is why we're tearing into this Jeep, getting it finally done past this point so Brady can move on with everything else that needs to get done.
I'm not kidding. If we can figure this, or not if, when we figure this out, I'll probably be the happiest guy there ever was in the whole entire world. This has weighed on me every night since they didn't work. Like I just don't, hopefully everybody can relate to a problem that they've had before that they just can't resolve. Like in our minds, we're built to be problem solvers. And I can't solve this problem. So if this gets resolved, I'm not kidding, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with my life. And when we do, I'm taking Alex and whoever helps us out to a steak dinner.
That's what I like to hear. That's all I need to know. So the problem isn't when it's like turned straight and flat. The problem is when it's turned and it's flexed up like this. When you have shocks like this and when it's flexed down, these actually travel closer to your frame because the axle's pulling that way. So when it's flexed up, this wants to hit the frame, and on this side, when you turn it, it hits the shock back there. And we actually flopped these. The coilover used to be in front, and then the bypass was in the back. We tried flopping, see if it would help. Nothing works. So like if you get away from the tire here and go in, you gotta go in on that side, and if you go in on that side, it hits the frame. So we've gotta like position these shocks literally perfectly, and for some reason we can't do it.
That is the most frustrating thing about it because when you get one side dialed, it clears the tire and the frame, the other side hits. Like it just drives me nuts.
The good news is in the last video, Brady got the rear done and the rear works perfect. Flexed, I mean, these don't turn, so it's a little bit easier, but the back's done, so really we only have the front to do. And I know that everybody out there is gonna say, we'll just get deeper wheels or get different tires or, you know, cut the frame. Well, no, and we ain't gonna do that. If we get deeper wheels, this thing ain't gonna fit out of the garage. This thing's already way wide. Swampers, they're just a given. They're the best tire out there. And you can't cut the frame right here because he's running a JK big bore box and he's got the steering shaft behind it, so that literally can't move unless he redoes like the whole frame. This is not a stock frame. He built this by hand. We're just gonna have to mess with the shocks. That's just what it comes down to.
So essentially, if you're an idiot don't be building frames just like me. Just take it from me and just buy one from Moto-Built. Just save yourself the headache. The last thing I will say is once this is done, that means I can come out here and tinker with stuff. I can make little brackets for this and mount this cooler, you know, get the motor ready, paint things. Like, this is what is holding this Jeep up for good right now. This Jeep is actually gonna get done when these shocks get mounted.
All right, while Braid's doing that, I'm gonna help Caleb out a little bit. When he had his second kid last week, we gave him this little van for his family because his truck needs a fuel pump, Lou's car needs tires, his other truck needs an oil change and some things. So he wasn't able to drive the minivan home because there was no seat belts, and we kind of overlooked that. But I'm gonna go get his truck going, change the fuel pump out for him so he has a car to drive while he's taking care of Lou and his two kids.
Because I have exhausted all of my options here, this is the best work that I've been able to do. I think we need to go see the doctor first. Not gonna lie, this is kind of fun. This is the first time this has ever been like outside and on a trailer.
All right, since we're running to town, we figured we might as well bring Caleb's car in here and get some new tires put on it so he has something to drive as well. Our buddies Nate and John at Crossfire Off-Road, they're like the Jeep doctors. They're like the anything doctors. We're gonna see what they have to say. I feel like maybe there's just something we're not seeing. Maybe they can get us a solution. So they're kind of our last resort.
We didn't actually mean the real doctor. Nate's the Jeep doctor.
I don't have a prescription for this one.
Oh.
It's gonna take some surgery. I've seen your welds. You're gonna need a grinder.
Maybe this was the wrong place to go.
Well, Nate's gonna look at this for us and tell us if we're gonna go backwards before we go forwards or if it's even possible. Well, Nate told me to just bring my little Jeep home, put it back in the garage and work on it for one more week. And if I cannot get it done, I can bring it to him and he'll do it.
All right, I'll see you boys next week.
Oh, baby. They got the new tires on the car. This car, all it needs is a car wash and she's good to go again. So let's get it home.
All right, Nate gave me a glimpse of a hope and gave me some other ideas that I never even thought about. First, I was trying to get it to clear both tire and frame, and obviously that's not working. I'm gonna get it to clear the tire, and then we'll work on things on the inside. That sounds backwards from what I was originally thinking, but I think there is a possibility that could work.
While he tears that thing apart, I'm gonna work on getting Caleb's other vehicle up and going. It needs a fuel pump, it's on the frame, and it also needs an alternator that I just found out, and it needs a vacuum pump. All right, this is the old fuel pump. That was actually probably one of the easiest fuel pumps I've ever had to do. And luckily Caleb already has the new one here. So this is the filter. Just gotta hook the lines up, put these 3 bolts back on. That literally is gonna take like 15 minutes.
Seems like yesterday I was...
All right, I got the fuel pump in. I got the alternator out. This one's actually new. We replaced it like probably a month or 2 ago. And it was bad out of the box, so I'm gonna do a new alternator. I gotta do the vacuum pump, but let's see how far Braid got while we were working. What'd you figure out?
Well, do you want good news? I want good news.
Sure.
So the good news, where I had all of the mounts already, I put it back to where it was, and it's exactly where Nate wants it to be. He wants it to be dang near touching this tire, but barely clearing. And then we're gonna now come into the frame side here. So now this spring touches that frame. Really all we need to do is make clearance for that on the frame, but also we have a steering shaft back here that is going to have to be a little bit intricate. I didn't want to deal with that, but I think he had a good idea for that. So he said, leave that up to me if you can figure this out, and he'll do that. So I think that this thing actually might work. So I'm gonna kind of tweak my brackets. They're touching a few little things up here. So I'm gonna probably redo these upper mounts. I think I'm gonna keep these axle mounts because they're a great space, a great offset. They're in place, they're done. And I think I'm just gonna remake these. I think we're gonna roll with it.
All right, I just got the new alternator in, the vacuum pump in. I think the batteries are charged at least good enough to start it. The fuel pump and filter assembly is in. I'm pretty sure that's all that he needed to do. So now it's to the fun part and see if this thing starts. I hate dead batteries.
Yep, you still got more work to do.
I thought they were charged enough. It says 12 freaking volts on it. This has gotta work.
Please don't try this at home. It might work, but it could also start the shop on fire.
Here we go. What the heck?
Dude, you need to go to mechanic school or something. 9th try.
Take 46. I'm gonna freaking kill this truck.
Final one. I'm going to bed if this one don't work.
It's been charging, so here goes.
Oh! There it is.
I barely started. This thing needs to charge.
Dang, dude. Caleb is going to be pumped when he figures out you fixed his truck.
Hopefully I fixed it. The charging system just doesn't seem to like it, but we'll let it run for a while and see if it works.
All right, so last night I drew up some brackets for the Jeep to redo so they'll fit perfectly. We're gonna ride over to our friend Sean's place and he's gonna help us build them.
This suspension's so stiff on this thing.
Or it's just I can't ride.
Dude, I'm getting arm pumped pretty bad. My throttle hand's like cramping up.
This right here is where you about died last time we were up here in the snow.
Is that right here?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were laid down right there. The best part about that trip was when Caleb went over the handlebars.
All right, next stop, Sean's shop.
Now that was fun. I could go for that every single work week. We brought you a grapefruit salt element to say thank you for all your efforts.
Awesome.
So-
I'm excited to try that one. I haven't tried the grapefruit yet.
You remember all those shock brackets that you've made? About 30 of them now?
It's been close to that, yeah.
Yeah. We gotta do it one more time.
Oh, sweet. This is what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I figured you'd be excited. Thing is, you never complain, so
No.
I didn't feel like it was too much to ask. If you
No.
don't complain.
I kind of wanted to because I didn't like the last ones we put on anyway, so.
Oh, didn't you? All right, Sean. We'll bring you a burrito.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, let's not wreck on the way home because I'm hungry. That sounds like a wonderful idea, Alex. All right, so while Sean is building those brackets, we have two things to do. One, we have to go get him a burrito. And two, we got to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Element. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix that helps replenish the electrolytes that you guys lose through your sweat. And the nice thing about Element is they also have these sparkling water cans that Brady literally drinks the whole case when we order them.
My wife had to limit me to one of them a day. I was like chugging them like crazy. And I think you can overdo it, but they just make me feel so good and they taste so good. I just freaking love them.
It's a perfect time to down some Element because we just went dirt biking and I saw Braid's back sweating pretty bad.
What?
So it's about time that we try these new lemonade salt elements.
We've been pretty sweaty around here, mainly because it's been like 100 degrees outside. And when it's that hot and you're working, you're going to lose electrolytes and water in your body. The Element is there to replenish and keep you feeling good.
So not only does Element have sodium, but they also have potassium and magnesium in them. So you're getting a whole bunch of minerals that sodium alone can't give. Electrolytes help a lot with maintaining steady energy. They help reduce headaches. They help you have fewer muscle cramps and a whole bunch of other things that I didn't know electrolytes did.
Element is used by professional athletes, special forces teams, Olympians, and everyday people just like us.
Dude, that lemonade salt is probably my favorite now.
I feel like salt gives it a bad name because who wants to drink salt water? It don't taste like salt.
It doesn't taste like salt at all. And the reason why we drink them literally every day is there's no sugar, there's no dodgy ingredients, there's no dyes, there's nothing in them that's bad for you. Like they're literally like 2 or 3 ingredients in every packet, so you can feel safe when you're drinking them.
If you order some Element and you don't like it, they have a no questions asked refund policy.
You guys have got to try Element this summer, so go to our link, drinklmnt.com/peck. You'll get a free sample pack so you can see which one of these flavors you love. That's drinklmnt.com/peck for a free sample pack. So thank you, Element, for sponsoring today's video. And now let's go get Sean his burrito. We came to trade you burritos for parts.
Well, I don't have any parts yet. Still gotta make them.
That's all right. We'll share a burrito.
You're good to go. We'll get her done first thing in the morning.
Heck yeah. I hope these ones work.
You hope they work. We both hope they work.
Yeah.
This is where the work starts for you.
Yeah, I got a lot of cutting and grinding to do. It's all right though. If it fixes it, I'm good. I'm happy.
You'll be happy to grind then, huh?
I'm gonna be grinding with a smile. Well, I'm gonna start taking shocks all apart and cutting things off so we're ready for the brackets tomorrow and I can just start getting this thing done.
How come the body's coming off?
Cause I gotta do the shocks.
That don't make any sense.
Remember, every time the shocks get done, the body comes off.
What, did you just make that rule up or something?
Oh, that's what everybody does. I've got tacks and more tacks to cut off to get this all right. But the good thing is it's gonna be right.
I guess that does make it easier to cut these things off. Don't you wish you would have just listened to me and Caleb and just final welded everything?
No, what I wish I would have listened to was just everybody that told me just to go buy a Jeep, not build one. Because I've spent the last 5 years of my life doing this. This is all I have to show for it.
You'd be 5 years and $100,000 ahead.
I don't even want to get into the money part. Let's just not talk about that. Here.
All right, now that his red truck is fixed, we're gonna go ahead and change the oil on this truck because the change oil light has been on for a minute. So I got oil yesterday when I picked up the alternator, and we'll get this truck back up and going. All right, now that all of Caleb's vehicles are working again, I think it's finally time that we pull this piece of crap down there and I start working on it because it needs a lot of work. All right, guys, so I finally got started on making my downpipe for my turbo. And as I was making that, I realized that my battery will not fit here anymore, and it won't fit anywhere in here anymore. So I got thinking, I was like, well, maybe I should put it inside. So I'm like, dang, maybe I could put it, up where the passenger's feet go, or like in the console, but like nothing, it like wasn't fitting there. So then I was like, man, maybe I could put it on my gas tank. So I'm thinking of maybe putting it right here, which it's kind of nice because it's easy to jump start because I always have a dead battery. But it's kind of sketchy because it's by the gas tank, and if it sparks or lights on fire, the Jeep's burning to the ground. And to do that, I had to put this Motobilt tailgate on that ended up looking so sick. But the stock JK one has this big box that the battery would have had to slide forward. So got that on. I've been meaning to do that for like a year. But that's kind of what I got done this week, and I'm actually pretty stoked about it.
Okay, give me a call when we need to make them again.
I've had it. These parts right here could be the solution to all of my problems in my life. Now that they're here, all I gotta do is clean them up, weld them together all square and straight, and they're going on that Jeep. And those shocks are gonna work. Well, it is Saturday, and it looks like I didn't get absolutely anywhere. But I spent the last 5 days straight working on this thing between grinding and welding and sanding and designing and fitting and clearancing and all of the things that go into fabrication work. And you know what? Sometimes you just got to go backwards before you can go forwards. After I got all these brackets ready to get welded on the Jeep last night, I realized one thing. None of the brackets that we made this week are going to work. The reason being is the axle side brackets are too narrow. They pull the shocks too close together, which was a mistake on me and Sean's part, mainly my part. And the top ones, we must have had something going on with AutoCAD where the bend radius was too tight, so we don't have the clearancing underneath. And when we're talking like an eighth of an inch, that is enough for these shocks to not clear. And not only that, but last night my dog got ran over by a side-by-side and broke his back leg. So I've been dealing with the vet and family and everything else going on, trying to figure out the best way to handle that. He's now at the vet getting the treatment he needs, and hopefully he's not gonna have too extensive of a recovery. But with these two problems coming into my life, sometimes that just happens. Sometimes you have good weeks, sometimes you have bad weeks, and this one wasn't a great one. So I know I promised that these shocks were gonna be mounted in this video, but it just didn't happen for me this week. My goal though is by the end of next week, in next week's video, these shocks are gonna be mounted and clearanced and good to go so this LJ can keep moving forward. So sorry they didn't get mounted in this video, but I can assure you next week, they're gonna be on. Thanks for sticking around and watching our channel. We appreciate you guys more than you know. We'll see you next week.